There you go. Finally, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He's New York Vinnie. I'm Michael Knight. That doesn't change. It's a morose Monday, a wacky Wednesday, a fractious Friday, and you can join us if you like. We wish you would. Why not? I don't know what we're going to talk about today. I do have one topic that has to do with lizards. And Vinnie, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael. Yeah, I got a couple of things I want to throw out there today too, and rap and flap about. Is my good friend BJ Shea always seems to.
Does that anything to do with number 39?
Um, no, no, yeah, no. But now you have me interested. Why would you say that it had anything to do with number 39?
Cal Raleigh hit number 39.
Okay. See, now my immediate, I don't know why, but he did wear 39, Dave Parker.
I was thinking of Hugh McElhaney. Also,
Yeah, all of a sudden, my thoughts were going to, well, we're getting close to the Hall of Fame weekend, and is we're going to talk something about Dave Parker or Ichiro or Richie Allen is going in too, right?
Parker and Allen play for a different team now. It's quite a team. It's a big team.
Yes, it's large. It's expanding every moment.
Just like Ozzy plays for a different band now.
That's what that was the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Well, among many things. But anyway, how are you, pal? Let's start there. You doing all right?
I think I'm going to be fine. I found something in the kitchen yesterday that was fascinating for a couple hours.
Brownies that you made in 1986.
It was this long, and it was alive. It was an eensy beensy teensy weensy baby blue belly lizard.
In the kitchen, you found this.
In the kitchen. I don't know how it got there. I don't know how. We're on the second floor. First floor's on the second floor in this apartment building. So it crawled up the wall somewhere from humble beginnings elsewhere and made his home at the cat station. It set up business right there by the cat food and was very happy to.
Is it?
Very well.
I'd say for a lizard, that counts as bravery, doesn't it?
Probably. I think more foolishness than anything else. But the cats wanted that area too, it turned out. And Puna, the most curious, the most difficult to deal with, the most aggressive, found that lizard. Didn't kill him. He's injured and he's still in the kitchen. But I felt guilty that I couldn't save him. But he would work in front of the refrigerator, work in front of the sink, on the floor, then always go back to the cat station. And I just knew that this was not going to work out well for him or her.
But yeah, you didn't check out which one it was?
No, I didn't pick it up. Not for fear of being bitten, but there was no point in it. Was just it wasn't any bigger than this, and so beautifully formed. It was a perfect lizard, but it was so tiny. And it was trying to make its way across the slit kitchen floor. So its little hind legs are spinning out as he tried to go faster and faster. I'm going to go from the sink to the cat food. I'll be right back.
Yeah, well, somebody has some other plans there. Well, you are close enough to Hollywood. Maybe they're auditioning for and I don't know this for a fact. I didn't read it in the Hollywood Reporter or anything. But maybe they're doing auditions for a new Geico lizard, and he happened to be, in the neighborhood. Thought, hey,
he's got the spirit. I think he would audition well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they want one with a British accent. The way things are going these days.
This one does not have. He never said anything, so I don't know if he has an accent. Could be a Venezuelan accent, which might not sell right now.
Well, those aren't. That's not the accent you want to have these days.
Or an Idaho accent.
Well, that's one that we'll actually talk about in a few minutes. But there is certainly an Idaho accent.
So I was going to name that lizard, and I didn't, and I'm sort of glad I didn't, because then I would refer to. Remember, Pokey used to live in the kitchen. Wonder if he had a shot at a nice, long, fruitful life.
Pokey.
Well,
I like the name.
Okay, Pokey it can be.
I like the name Pokey. I mean, I haven't. You don't hear Pokey as a name for a pet too much, and you'd think that you would, but maybe I don't think.
Wasn't Pokey the name of the horse? And
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that I don't think that Gumby and Pokey are in style as they used to be.
no, it's a good name, but not used
Many,
very often.
yeah, many of the cartoon characters of yesteryear have enjoyed a renaissance, have enjoyed a rebirth, have enjoyed
Daffy Duck.
coming back into the mainstream and being hailed by a whole new generation of kids.
Even Nancy and Sluggo.
Even Nancy and Sluggo. I mean, I don't know how did they ever drive?
How did they get anything done? They're looking like that. They can't go. You can't take them
I had
anywhere.
demised that, but anyway, but Pokey and Gumby, you just don't really hear about them.
Gumby was made of gum, right?
And Davy and Goliath, both of those claymation characters, or all four of them, I should say, two comedy teams. And I mean, especially Gumby and Pokey were kind of, I mean, on the comedy list of the 60s, they were right behind Wayne and Schuster.
They had things to do. They had an audience.
They had an audience.
There weren't too many horses with feet like Pokey's. You had those squared off feet at the bottom.
Yeah.
Hey Gumby, I have feet like you, but but I'm a horse. Wait.
Well, Gumby had that weird sound when he moved too. It was like, it was kind of sounded like something, a slot car almost,
like an eraser on a.
It had this weird sound when he moved around. Pokey didn't have the same sound. Pokey had a different. Matter of fact, I think they may have even given Pokey somewhat of a horse, like a
clops. He'd clop along.
Yeah, which was done by coconuts. I had two coconuts.
Max Fleischer, and two coconuts, or one coconut.
Max Fleischer, two coconuts, and the only other iteration of Gumby that I can think about is there is a tobacco shop, a smoke shop chain in West Virginia called Gumby's.
A smoke shop chain?
Yeah, like, the chain of cigarette. I mean, I'm sure that they probably sell pot now too, but mainly before pot was so legalized, they sold just cigarettes and pipe.
Marijuana legal in West Virginia, you think?
I think it is, yeah. I think it is now. I don't think it was. It might not have been when I left, but I think it is now. If it certainly with a medical card, it is. Pennsylvania now they may have changed the law since I left, but in Pennsylvania you needed to get a medical card. You had to go to your doctor and
you got to be sick. You got to be sick to have marijuana.
Permission to have a medical card, and of course, all of a sudden, the number of days that people were sick shot through the roof.
That's why they call it chronic.
Oh, yeah. Or Craddock. One of the kids, what was that guy? Kid Craddock? He was in there. Was he a...
Yeah, DJ.
Yeah, he was one of those guys that you always saw his name in the radio and records, but yet had
every damn day. Kid Craddock drove to work today.
Yeah. I kind of missed that. I missed that about the business. Is that's one thing where they used to have those, they had to fill a newspaper every week or a magazine every week.
Stuff.
So everybody had to come. Everybody had to come up with 20 news items in a business where everybody does pretty much the same thing all the time.
The new trend is turning off AM radio. You probably know that.
No. What is? Tell me about that.
Well, you got a small market with too many stations. and the owner,
Oh, okay, yeah.
the owner of the company goes to the AM radio and just turns them off. Goodbye, going dark.
Well, don't you have to? I should know this, but don't you have to? If you have a license, don't you have to keep it active?
I think they surrender. You can have the license. You can pay for the station and make it yours, but until you do, it's dark.
You see, that's basically one of my problems with this with this whole deal is it's not well thought out. Those stations, if you're not using a station like that,
somebody should.
You should be made to turn it over to somebody who will for free.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you should give the community an opportunity to have a broadcast station in every local community, because AM is so, for the most part, I mean, it's of course the super stations, but they're still going. But the local community stations or the local stations in small towns,
1,000-watt daytimer.
yeah, they're all local stations, and it would be hard pressed for me to think that it wouldn't be a community service to take those stations and give them to the community.
Yeah.
And say, okay, well, put a group together that wants to run this station, and we'll give you a grant. We'll actually give you some money so you can put it together.
Oftentimes, you know what the biggest line item is on the budget?
Is probably electricity for the transmitter.
Right, you are. Perfectly answered, Vinnie. Take a lap around the map of Idaho.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that's so you can run. I mean, you can run a station a la a volunteer thing, and these days you don't even have to come into the station. I mean, somebody can run a station out of their living room. So if you do a weekly 7 to 11 Monday night show, you don't have to 7-Eleven it 50 miles to the town to go to the radio station. All you got to do is just go to your computer and put it on the air.
Patutor. Go to your patutor, put it on.
Go to your patutor, stick your code in, and you're on. I mean, they make a total, you have, I don't know how much it is, but that would give communities an opportunity to have a station that's sent, instead of having 9 million AM stations across the country playing Fox News at the top and the bottom of the hour, and trucker radio in between. You'd have the opportunity to have people come in, and it could, and really, because you're not paying for it, you could virtually have anything on there.
It might be interesting.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'd lift the rule. I'd say, you know what? You can say, as long as it's not slanderous, as long as it's not libelous, and actionable, as long as it's not inciting a riot or making people turn to violence for something, you go ahead and say what you want.
You might ask them to say the truth if they have it handy.
Well, yeah, you would have to have a fairness doctrine or something like that, but it's not. I mean, we're not talking brain surgery here. We're talking the ability for a group of people to have a signal that would allow them to, as a community, communicate or do what the what the word says you're supposed to do. Communicate among a group of people.
Operate in the public service.
I mean, would that be such a bad thing?
You could have interesting people on the air. I remember a Texas station had a weatherman named Pinky Brown. And Pinky Brown could tell when the rain was coming by the way the birds were sitting on the fence. Birds, they facing west in one way, and it had to be a certain kind of bird. It had to be a split tail or a sawtail or whatever it was called. Pinky, what do you got, Pinky? Well, they're facing west. I figure rain in an hour.
Yeah, and I mean, he's probably going to be just as good as the big time weatherman that they're paying, or weatherwoman that they're paying $100,000 a year.
What did Pinky say? Mr. Brown, you mean? Yes, Pinky Brown. Well, he figures it rain by an hour or two.
But that's I mean, I think I've always thought that that's where AM is missing the boat, or the FCC is missing the boat.
Yeah.
You know, give the stations away. Don't let them go dark. They're community assets. But again, I'm sure if you follow the money, they're waiting for that spectrum to die so they can turn it over to the police or fire or emergency channels or something that will give them money.
If you're in the business of radio and you can't afford to operate the stations that you own, sell them. If you can't sell them, give them away.
Yeah. Do some good with them. Do some good, you know, do give people an opportunity to be creative. But again, we're in a period now where people aren't going to want, they don't want that creativity.
Also, Vinnie, how many people come up with the notion, I'm just going to do good with these things. I want to take what we have and we're going to do good with it. That doesn't occur to them. And if you've been in radio for 6 months, that may never occur to you ever again.
Well, see, I don't know if I agree with that. I think there are people out there that try to do good with what they have or some stuff. There seems to be a lot more. Either there seems to be, or they're highlighted more. They're looked at, because you know as well as I know, if we go on the radio and say it's a sunny, beautiful day out, and I hope you have a great time, nobody picks up the phone and calls. But if you say that damn Trump, or that damn Biden, or that, you start getting mad at people, and you get the other people mad.
White guys will call you.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I mean, that kind of populism, that ability to get people pissed off is what they look for in radio hosts, right?
Am I under your skin? No, we're just listening here at home, and we agree with what you say. We should string them up. No, I got under your skin. I'm right there. You just don't recognize the feeling. You think it's you, but it's me.
Yeah, give it a day, and we'll let it out of your body, and you'll get people upset. But unfortunately, that's the way it goes. It's like that with everything.
Take it a day, go in the kitchen, play with Pokey, see how you feel.
Otherwise, the headlines on the newspaper would say 65 and sunny today.
Nothing to say. Nothing going on here. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, a couple of murders down the street, but don't worry about that.
Nah, what's the worry? There's nothing we can do. There's nothing to be done.
Do about it. Go talk to our complaint department. So, well, yeah, the AM stations, unfortunately, they've become a burden on the electric system more than anything else.
In San Francisco, the big stations, KSFO, KGO, a burden, too big to operate. No sustainable format could be envisioned, executed, and applied. Fascinating.
Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, that's just, there's, I mean, again, you're not going to make a ton of money with it, but can you, could you come out and come up with something that people will listen to?
Apparently not.
Again, you'll get a sliver of people. You're not going to get, the numbers that KGO used to get. You're not going to get the numbers on, baseball numbers, what they call in the business, and it's a 25 share every night.
Unlikely.
You're not going to get that anymore. There's too many choices out there of things to listen to.
Yep.
If you don't like what's up, used to be you had, 25 stations on the AM dial, 25 stations on the FM dial, and you'd punch through until you found something that you liked, and then you'd stick around for a little while. Now,
Not
you
so
get in
much.
the car, you put on your Bluetooth, and you listen to some podcast or something. You get information broadcasting on demand. Or you listen to the Jimmy Kimmel show from last night, or whatever you want to listen to. You listen to murder mysteries, you can listen to whatever you want. You control it now.
You choose the news.
So, yeah, and I don't think that radio, to be honest with you, is intelligent enough. The people that run radio stations aren't intelligent enough, for the most part.
For the most part, they don't even have the talent and the wherewithal to execute the precision formats that were successful with music stations just in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I don't think they have the people or the wherewithal or the experience or the talent to execute a format like that.
Well, but to be fair, I don't know that what was done in the 60s or 50s would work. Now, it might on an FM station because you have the sound quality and you have, some distance and you have some of that. But I don't know, would a top 40 station work these days? Would a Western station work these days? Westinghouse Wheel refers to the type of format where they, dice up and do a number of stories, and there's certain marks you hit: local news or national news at the top of the hour, or 5 after, 5-2. The weather on the 10s, traffic on the 9s, that kind of thing.
Traffic and weather together. Give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
I mean, you call it now, and you know what you can push a button and get the traffic. You can tell what the traffic is in Minneapolis. You can tell what the traffic is in Nairobi, Kenya, if you want.
They pass on the right in Nairobi. It's sort of a thing.
Yeah, it's a little funny thing they have.
No, it's funny. It's hilarious.
It's until somebody takes an eye out.
Somebody's going to get hurt.
Somebody's going to get hurt.
It's going to be pokey, and it's going to be too late.
It's going to be pokey in his eye. He's going to be laying on the floor over there. So I think that I don't know. I just get the feeling that if you wanted to do something like that it could be done. But again, it would have to be a nonprofit venture. And it's going to be a whole lot of these stations now that are going to be trying to figure it out because they don't have their funding from PBS or from NPR.
No, they don't
anymore. And if you don't want
the same year that the government under Donald Trump eliminated the Department of Education, the Los Angeles Unified School District, not always the most efficient, not always the most successful, had its highest test scores in its history, released yesterday. So the two things, we're going in opposite directions, and we shouldn't be. We should be going in one direction toward better and more efficient education, more successful education, and more educated people.
Well, was there any kind of thought from anybody as to why the test scores are up?
They figured it was a recovery, a slapback from the COVID days. Some kids found out that they did like school.
Interesting. I think that's, I wonder if that's a nationwide
I hope so.
trend.
I hope it is a nationwide trend. Now, you can't expect it in states that piss on their education system and just let the kids go where they want and do what they want and end up as ignorant adults doing ignorant things with their ignorant children. But
Yeah.
but LA, that's a big challenge because there's so many schools, there's so many teachers, there's so many students, there's so many curricula. There's all the different pressures of budgets and safety and kids that don't want to go to school. There's got to be something there apparently for the kids who do want to go to school, and and then they had to test it. The thing is, some kids are very bright but don't test well.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
these
been a
kids,
problem for years.
right. So these kids managed to survive all the the downward slope on the school experience by testing very well, so well that it's never been higher ever in LA.
Well, I think that's encouraging, Michael.
I think it's
I
the
mean,
largest school district in the nation.
yeah. I mean, I would think that that's encouraging to. I mean, it must give the educators. Yeah, I don't know where she is, but I'd certainly like to get my friend Lori Gates on to talk a little bit because she's been a teacher now for 25 years. Maybe get her on to.
What does she teach?
Third grade.
Third grade. Who was your teacher in
Third
third
grade
grade?
teacher, 25 years.
Miss Kirkpatrick, I think, was her name. A third grade teacher.
That was your third grade teacher. Mine was Mrs. Hedis. Hetes. Mrs. Hearn. Excuse me. Mrs. Hedis was fourth grade. Mrs. Hearn was my third grade teacher. A large, imposing figure of a woman.
Did she ever have you by the back of your neck?
Many times.
Couldn't be helped. I know, Vinnie, you were trying to be good.
Many times. The emotional pain that she inflicted on me still isn't forgotten.
Sounds like you got even.
No, I never did get even with her. I mean, I wish I would have. I would have liked to have. Well, I guess in some way because she wound up. Oh no, she didn't do this. Mrs. Galvin, one of our teachers, jumped off a roof.
Did she land anywhere?
Yeah, on the sidewalk, which didn't make the janitor very happy.
They always get the lousy jobs.
Well, I always get that thing where they got to clean it up.
Yep, someone's got to clean it up.
Contrary to popular belief, unless you jump off in a baggie and manage to tie it on the way down, you leave quite a mess.
Yeah, you gotta plan if you're going to jump off the roof.
Yeah, you got to
need some planning. I mean, if you want to survive the experience.
Yeah, no, Mrs. Galvin took the dive off the roof. But Mrs. Mrs. Hearn was just this very unhappy, fat old lady.
It's like a law firm, Hedis, Hearn, and Galvin.
Yeah, Hedis, Hearn, and fat old lady. And she was just, she just wasn't, she wasn't happy with anything, it seemed. Not her kids, her classroom, her station in life.
I think third grade might be too young for me to teach. I would have to have eighth graders. So they at least had some life experience, some impressions and opinions and experiences of their own. Maybe be interested in the subject. It's a lot to ask.
Yeah. But that's where your talent comes in. I mean, my friend, I think you know Lori Gates. I think you remember Lori Gates from San Francisco. She worked for Bill Graham for a number of years. Her teaching talents lie in the fact that she does two things. She's a very, very good actress. I think she could have had a career in theater if she wanted it. And she's genuinely concerned about the kids that she teaches. She's genuinely, she makes school interesting. Like every year, several times a year, she dresses up as Professor Higginbotham. And she puts on a British accent. She goes in and she teaches science as Professor Higginbotham.
I like it.
And the kids love it. And the parents love it. And, for a day, she's got them in the palm of her hand. But she actually has them in the palm of her hand for more time than that. The kids know that she's Higginbotham, but they like the fact that she dresses up and she decides that she likes performing for the kids, because in essence, when it comes down to it, that's really what a lot of it is. You're performing for the kids that you're teaching and trying to convey messages through that and knowledge.
Here's an example of young talent.
Hi, my name is Kennedy Quinn Musha. Let's go, Red Sox, let's go. There's nothing like game day at Fenway. I cheer, I dance, I wear my lucky jersey, and I always get Dippin' Dots in a Red Sox ball cap bowl. I mean, it's ice cream and a souvenir.
Can you hear that?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
When they hit a home run, I scream with a mouth full of confetti. Want to feel like a champ? Come to Fenway, where the only thing sweeter than beating the Yankees is the snacks. Let's go, Red Sox, let's go. There's nothing like game day at Fenway. I cheer, I dance, I wear my lucky jersey, and I always get Dippin' Dots in a Red Sox ball cap bowl. I mean, it's ice cream and a souvenir. Yes, please. When they hit a home run, I scream with a mouth full of confetti. Want to feel like a champ? Come to Fenway, where the only thing sweeter than beating the Yankees is the snacks.
Genetics are a bitch, but there's my granddaughter, Kennedy Quinn Musha.
Well, and that's good, because she's interested in something and sounds like she's enthusiastic about something.
Voiceover.
And, so it's, the trick I always think in teaching is, what do you do with the kids that aren't interested? What do you do? How do you reach the kids that aren't like her?
Yeah,
I'm
not interested. Nah, I want to
good homes, right?
I'm sleepy.
Don't come from a place, come from a place where at 6:30, after the frozen dinners come out of the microwave, the parents go inside and turn on HBO or the game channel, and they're sitting there, and unfortunately, that's half of America today.
After dinner, you have to have everything in the form of a question.
Yeah, after dinner.
What is the Idaho Panhandle? No, not another Panhandle story. No.
Yeah, those are the kids that, I'm not saying they all turn into criminals or disinterested people or societal outcasts, but
or cops.
How do you grab those kids? I mean, is it the teacher that gets to the kid? Is it Kennedy Quinn who gets to the kid, a peer type of thing, who can spread that enthusiasm to other kids? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how that's the thing that I don't know if they figured it out yet. No, how do you get those kids enthusiastic?
Usually, if you have heart's desire, the kid knows it. You may not be able to focus on it totally or accurately at a young age, but there's something in him saying, you should be you love this, you should embrace this, you should be interested in this, join a club involved with this, go to a school that has better this. And it could be anything, but I'm seeing scientists that are drawn to science right away. Some people who have talent are drawn to sports, but God, that's a tough. The percentages is against you the whole way.
Yeah.
It's just so the numbers don't add up. They don't make good sense.
But I mean, I
guess you're better off being a scientist.
Well, I mean, I'm of the belief that you're better off, I think, you're better off at least early on What they need to do is bring back shop classes. They need to bring back, and I think under a system now where we treat little girls a little bit more equally than, well, you're a little girl, so you're going to be a home economics class or something like that.
They can learn how to change a spare tire or change the oil for that matter.
Yeah, is that you're going to teach kids or try to get kids interested in something that's going to serve them later in life, either as a work thing, a nurse, doctor, whatever, or as an enjoyment thing. But get them interested in something that's not cartoons, or it's not fantasy, or it's not reality. I mean, it's not false reality.
And
What am I
plus,
trying to say? Artificial intelligence.
there's some things, this is maybe a poor example, but you may have ever thought of stamp collecting as being very interesting. Then you open up the book and you look at the stamps and you say, oh, these are beautiful. Where'd you get these? How did you come by these? Where do you get them? Where do they come from? Who makes them? Why is this one valuable and that one's not? How the hell, who knew stamped? I didn't even look at the stamp. Now that they're all forever stamps with a flag on them.
Yeah. Well, you got to get the flag in there. You got to make sure that you have the flag in. But, maybe it's videotapes, maybe it's, some kind of form of it has to be something that these kids latch onto these days. That there's a sense that it makes them feel like they belong. It makes them feel like they're right, that they can go to school and talk today, like baseball cards. Before the collectors got a hold of the baseball card market, what did you do with baseball cards?
You put them on the spikes of your spikes of your bike.
Yeah, or you went to school and you flipped them in the yard, or you showed the kids, I got this one, you got that one. Don't forget, they were originally called trading cards.
Yeah, that's right.
But it gave the kids, the boys especially, something to do at lunchtime. They went down to the schoolyard and they were saying, okay, I'll give you 2 Willie Mays for a Rod Keneal, or I'll give you, and you trade people. And you would build up your collection. And you don't have that. You're trading bulletproof vests in schoolyards these days.
You can have it tailored directly to the contours of your body.
Yeah, I like that. I like that that Kevlar jacket you're wearing. But I got this one here with brown and a little. Maybe that you want to trade me for that.
Yeah, mine's a parka. It'll keep you warm, but it won't stop anything.
But those are the things that. And again, I'm just kind of. I don't have a grand program to fix it. All I have is ideas, but that's one thing that always strikes me as what does a person do? What does a parent do? What does a teacher do? A school administration do?
How do you instill into someone that even though you don't have a favorite subject, it's cool to be smart? You've got to get smarter. You've got to learn things. It's not a bad thing. It's not a darn thing. It's not a punishment. It's a reward. Your brain gets better.
Yeah. How do you make them feel like an athlete feels, or a kid that's a jock feels, when they learn a little bit more about the game they're playing and it becomes more fun? Right. When a kid goes from being a kid just running with a football up a field to running up the field and looking at the different strategies. If I go this way, if I go that way, if I go this way,
Reminds me of my grandson's 5-year-old T-ball team where the kid was at third base. There was a ground ball and he ran to the dugout instead of scoring. But it wasn't his dugout. He ran to the other team's dugout and sat down. He was completely comfortable with being with the wrong team, doing the wrong thing, dramatically so. No guilt whatsoever. He was happy to be playing the game, playing it his own way. But there you have it.
Yeah, he gets the he learns a little bit more about the game, and he becomes a little bit more excited about it.
Oh,
He
he's
learned
very
that sit
excited.
down.
Look at all these new guys on my team. I don't know any of them.
Wait a minute, how'd their uniforms change color? I mean, when I went out, the uniforms were blue. When I got back, they were yellow.
Mine's not yellow.
Something must be wrong here. But I mean, that's so. I think it's a great thing that they scored better on their test scores, and considering it's LA, it's very it's a challenge met. You know, I mean,
Well, we're going to get cut off.
Yeah, they should be proud of themselves.
Next big deal with San Francisco, LA, San Diego, and all the great agricultural spots in the middle of our state is that Trump's just going to cut us loose. We'll have to fend for ourselves, and it'd be nice to have a smart populace to deal with the ignorance, the lies, and the distortions of our federal government.
One step at a time. Let's get them to count to 100 first. You know,
Unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be a pessimist, but I really think that we have to get deals in these schools, realities in these schools where the kid who has that high score can see what he can do to have a mechanism where he wants to make the score higher.
Right.
You know, to reach up more, to reach up more, and where they can also spread that to the kids that don't like it without being called a bully or an asshole or this or a nerd or whatever
or stupid.
The word of the day is that people want to use to light up that kid.
You're too dumb to be in my chess club.
Yeah, or you just you're not cool because you're smart. I mean, when I was going to school, it wasn't cool to be smart.
I know, I remember.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't cool to be smart. If you were smart, you didn't show it because the other kids made fun of you. It was cool to be smoking dope. It was cool to know who the 4 Beatles were. You know, it was good to know that stuff.
Hard to. Can you remember everybody in Black Sabbath?
No.
Geezer Butler, Tommy Iommi, Ozzy Osbourne. I can't remember the drummer. Bill.
No, I don't. Why am I blanking on that? I should know that.
Geezer played bass. Tommy Iommi played guitar. Ozzy was the singer, and the drummer was, I want to say Bill Ham, but that's totally wrong.
No, Bill Ham was
ZZ Top.
What was it?
ZZ Top.
Wasn't Badfinger? For some reason, I thought it was. There was a Ham in Badfinger too, though, wasn't there?
Pete Ham.
Pete Ham. Okay. I knew there was more than one Ham in that deli. And then you met his wife, right?
What's her name? I'll buy it. What's her name?
Virginia Ham.
Oh yeah. Bill Ward.
He always used to call her honey.
Bill Ward was the drummer. Vinnie and Cozy Powell played later, but Bill Ham was the starter. Bill Ward. I don't know where I'm getting the Ham, but please disregard the Ham and replace it with a Ward.
You know, I mean, I knew Ozzy had Parkinson's, right? But I didn't know that he was that sick, I guess, or that close to it. But listen, I'll give Ozzy a lot of credit. I mean, I was never a big fan of Black Sabbath. I mean, I appreciate the guy that he was a hell of a guitar player. And I appreciate that he fronted that band, and to a certain degree, I appreciated the biting the heads off the bats and mice and whatever else you could pick up on the way to work. You stop at McDonald's, I'm going to stop at the pet store. So I think
it's just for a bite to eat.
Just for a bite. But, I mean, a couple of things. He seemed to take care of business with his family.
Well, when he became more famous for his television show, naturally, than he ever had for his music, because he was established as a singer, rock and roller,
right?
An eccentric and slightly daffy. And his kids and his wife took care of him at home while he stood there and going, "Where's my underwear? I can't find anything. Sharon, where's my underwear?"
Yeah, it was a marriage made in heaven and for TV cameras, because he was so whacked out between the drugs and then the drug rehabs and then all the other stuff that was going on
and all the other stuff,
that it was it was funny.
The funny thing was he didn't have much of a speaking voice, but he had a very clear, distinctive singing voice.
Well, that was like Goldman Pyle.
Shazam.
What that syndrome is, that you hear the guy speak and he sounds like he's from the middle of Appalachia somewhere, and he's got a great singing voice.
Luciano Pavarotti had a perfectly normal speaking voice, but boy, when he took a lungful of air and sang Nessun Dorma, I was listening to 3 or 4 versions of it the other night, and it was inhuman. The noises he made, the notes he hit, the way he held them, and the power with which he controlled them, inhuman. So Ozzy had some of that inhumanity too. He was from another planet.
You know where Ozzy lived, right?
Well, he lived next door to Pat Boone.
Was Pat Boone there too? I wasn't thinking of Pat Boone, but now that you mention it, Ozzy lived right across the street from George Reeves.
Really?
Yeah. I forget what number. I forget if it's even on Benedict Canyon, but he was just catty corner across from George Reeves' house.
Tuper man.
The Superman. I actually found that out when I went to visit George Reeves' house the first time.
Ozzy was in the front yard.
And no, but Ozzy's house was right across it. I remember somebody was, I started talking, they were walking their dog by the house. And I just, started talking to him. And he said, "Oh, do you know who's there?" And I didn't really come here to buy a map of the Stars homes. I was interested in this particular home. And he says, "Oh, yeah, you're a Superman guy, huh?" Yep. He says, "Yeah, we get them all week." It's 30 years later. At the time, I forget how long it was. 30 years later, but we get them, 10 a week. Come by and take pictures and everything. And said, he told me once about a busload of people that got out, all got on the lawn and started praying and everything. And I said, "Oh, that must be pretty cool." He says, "Yeah, they're pretty good. They don't park. It's an older crowd, so they don't park in the middle of the street, or they don't come blasting music. It's kind of a solemn place, for people, because he died here." But
George got a tough exit.
Yeah, we got to talking to who lived around him, and the first one he says, "Well, do you know Ozzy Osbourne?" Yeah, of course I know Ozzy Osbourne. He says, "Well, it's his house right there," and it was just a bit like kind of a pink wall with a gate and security cameras and stuff like that. And I didn't have any desire to go inside or anything like that, but I thought it was cool.
It's tough to have a casual afternoon with Ozzy. He's a little
really
little cool.
That would be an interesting spot to But I thought it was nice of the guy to kind of point it out too. That he wasn't like, oh, here's one of these idiots. That another one of these idiots.
They had a spinoff from the regular show where the Osbournes chase ghosts. They would go do a show from a haunted house and try to make contact with the spirits. And I just didn't know if Ozzy was part of that or not. I never saw one of them. I just saw the promos on the Discovery Channel or whatever it was on, whatever channel Ozzy was dominating at the time. The Osbourne family chase ghosts.
Yeah, I saw a few different iterations of that show. They had him chasing ghosts. Then they had him and the son on the road.
Yeah, trying to tolerate each other.
Yeah, I think it might have been, I forget what, it was something. And they were chasing each other. Not chasing each other, they were on the road. I forget if they were just going down another road or whatever it was, but they were
Travel Channel.
Yeah, Travel Channel. Maybe that was it. Yeah. But it was Ozzy and his kid on the road. But not on the road as, we're in a bus and we got all the luxuries at home. I believe it was I think they were in a car. And they were trying to get from one place to another.
Which sounds easy, but if you're Ozzy Osbourne, it ain't easy getting from one place to another. Well,
it struck me that he had trouble with directions.
Yeah, he didn't have a natural sense of orientation.
Yeah, he never seemed to get spatial, time and placement and all that kind of stuff. It was tough. Well, rest in peace, Ozzy. I mean, you were obviously a part of rock and roll history. And, I mean, in heavy metal, he was one of the best at what he did.
You know what I noticed yesterday was when something like this happens, the news anchors on the news stations reveal that they know nothing about music.
Yeah.
Or concerts or the experience. They just don't know. And it's so embarrassing sometimes to listen to them try and be, well, tell me more about the Prince of Darkness. Why do you wear those little sunglasses? What's the deal with that? Was he really mixed up or was that an act? He looked like he was putting on a show. Did you ever see him in concert? What's your favorite song by him? The level of questioning and the crosstalk just got very unfocused.
Amazing. Yeah, it's amazing that. Hang on a second. 1 second.
1 second.
In my eye. All of a sudden. Thank you. Oh,
thank you, Vinnie.
Yeah, but then there's also the ones that surprise you, and also you say to yourself, "Wow, I never figured this guy for a whatever." Right. Yeah, I never figured this guy for a Humble Pie guy or a Black Sabbath or
Live at the Fillmore, two record set.
Yeah. And sure enough, they they reach under the desk and break out like Ozzy's first bootleg. And, oh yeah, man. So I guess the world is full of surprises.
One of his last hits was a power ballad. I can't think of the title right now, but you can.
It's on YouTube. I didn't see it, but it's all over YouTube. You just go on YouTube.
Well done.
It's they said that it was I forget who wrote a story. Somebody wrote a story about it yesterday. Maybe it was Jim Moore, because he crosses over the music and sports line a lot in his. I guess he's just on Substack now, but it was he wrote a story about Ozzy's last song, and it was all about him coming out and singing that what he knew in his heart was going to be the last time that he appeared on stage.
I wonder if he knew.
Well, the column alludes to that he did know. Might have
been
been
something.
the LA Times. I'm gonna have to look that up. But
Must have been a complication that was separate, maybe intensified by Parkinson's, but separate, another health issue that he had at the same time.
yeah, but it certainly, the way I read the article is that he did know that this was the last time and this was going to be the last one, and he just put so much into it that you couldn't help but being moved. The place was literally in tears.
Now, he was in a wheelchair for that. He was sitting down, and when the song was over, he yelled to the stage man, "Get me off the stage! Get me off the stage!"
He was using. Did he do that in a wheelchair? Because again, I haven't seen it yet. I just read about it, and
he was sitting in kind of a black throne.
Okay, because there's a shot in this one thing that I kind of started looking at that had the wheelchair roll up to like an elevator, and then the elevator took him up to the stage, and then he came out and he was standing. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not that much of an Ozzy fan that it was, again, as events go, I would have always checked it out because it's,
it's history.
Somebody at the top of their profession about to leave, whether they wanted to or not. And
I'll tell you when the show's over. No, we'll tell you when the show's over. That's not how it works. You'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's always funny to me too, how also, not funny, but it's interesting to, see these different people as they go through their careers and how they exit rock and roll, how they are, just have gotten to that place in their life where they're calling it quits, or they have to call it quits.
But they still
and they survived all of the, the drugs and the money and the squabbles and the this and the that. And I mean, because almost every one of them is worthy of a book.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get to have that kind of staying power in a band if you're not.
Well, Ozzy was vulnerable in a lot of ways, obviously so. And I think it made him lovable. His fans, the young men and women who flocked to his music and were followers and concert goers and loyal to him, loved him.
Yeah, he was a lovable character. I mean, you didn't have to love.
He wasn't darkened for, but he wasn't Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was a guy that as you got to sit down and watch him a little bit.
This guy's harmless. He wouldn't hurt a flea.
Oh, yeah, you had some admiration for him because he was going through a life-changing, life-altering disease. And he was able to get through it and still perform. He was still making appearances. He was still, in contact with the public. He wasn't, hiding in a room somewhere or saying, well, that's it, that's all. He was out there. He might not have been biting the bats off of heads or the heads off of bats every night, but he was out there.
I like it the other way. Bite a bat off the head. Give me that head, I'll bite the bat right off there.
And he was so unique looking that you couldn't miss him. I mean, you line Huey Lewis up in a room with 5 white guys, and it's kind of hard to,
the star. Yeah.
I mean, maybe if you know who Huey is, you know him, but other than that, you probably don't know who he is.
But if the weird guy with the long hair is doing this with his bangs, it's Ozzy.
Right, it's Ozzy. It's he just carried his rock stardom for all to see. Wasn't ashamed of it. Wasn't afraid of it. Didn't want to look like a stockbroker.
And with the cameras rolling, he would have these intimate conversations with Sharon during his television show that had nothing to do with reality, that showed how fragile and vulnerable and unfocused he was. And the whole family would just accept it and took care of him. And loved him for it.
Yeah,
As frustrating as it might have been to live with him.
And her show was a kick to. I mean, when she was doing the talk, she was a bit of a kick too. I mean, you could if you watched both of them at times, not religiously every day or whatever, but you kind of said, you know what, I wouldn't mind spending a weekend in this house. See how this whole thing works.
I could get a lot of sleep, but I didn't get any on my own. So what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, I just know, don't make any plans for the day or two after.
You'll be exhausted.
But we're going to go over the Osbournes for the weekend.
The Prince of Darkness is on the crazy train.
Harriet, that's for sure.
No, not at all.
Oh man, I know we're up against it, and I got to get striking here in a very few minutes. But I did want to mention I've been watching the witness impact statements of this Idaho.
They were grim.
Robbery, murders. This guy that's done this. I don't want to even mention his name. And I think what makes it a little weird is because, you walk the streets in that town. I mean, if you went out to Pullman, you was a student at Pullman and you go out to
Moscow.
You've gone out there. I'm sure John Hunter spent our former producer, spent many hours out there. And we've gone out there a number of times. And I just I can't imagine. I have to give the victims' families a lot of credit for standing up.
They came prepared.
Yeah, and the one, for the most part, they've been nice. It's nice that you're going to be in that situation.
Right.
But they haven't been. One woman talked about how since she lost her daughter, she found Jesus Christ. But the guy I've liked so far is the stepfather of one of the girls who said, I came here with a prepared speech today, and I came here and was at this whole prepared thing that I was going to read to you. And he says, but I'm not going to read it. And he folds it up and he puts it down on the table. He says, he says, really, what I want to do is I just want to take you out in the woods, man. I just want to take you out in the woods and back at his place and spend a little while with you. You could see this guy was he was a blue collar guy. You could even see he had them, them kind of hands that my father had them. They're calloused and they're swollen and they're, it says you don't need to know what he does. You just needed to know that he did it. And he got a kick out of his work. He liked being whatever kind of oil fitter in North Dakota or whatever that he wound up being. He liked that job. And he just, a number of times won over what he kind of liked to do to this murdering son of a bitch.
Strange case, because it doesn't seem to have a motive, not a reason to do it, not a sensible construction of the events of that night. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, except if you're such a sociopath.
Oh yeah, then you might be killing four or five people at a time.
Yeah, that you're getting what you want. You're getting the satisfaction of being in these people's heads, and no matter what they say to you, no matter what you say to them, they're going to be in your head and you're going to be in his to some degree.
Yeah.
But they had it was fascinating to listen to these people. And I just, I don't know. Well, I mean, I know how I feel if something like that, God forbid, ever happened to me. And I knew somebody that it did happen to. And it was just, I thought that these people handled it with a way more class than I would have ever had. Because I don't think I could find forgiveness.
I don't know what good it does. It's supposed to help the victims, help the survivor. I don't see it, but it's possible.
I couldn't have found it. I wouldn't be able to sit there and say to somebody, I forgive you for murdering my child. I don't care what kind of Christian man I was, or Muslim man, or whatever religion that you pick and choose, Buddhist. I just don't know how you could do it. I have admiration for these people, but I have more admiration, to be honest with you, for the one guy who stood up and gave it to him and said, I'd love to, I know one thing, you're going to get a heck of a greeting when you get to, you better leave your calendar open for the next few months because you're going to be meeting all kinds of new friends.
Yeah.
I just thought that he obviously had some knowledge of what was going on there and how things worked in prison. And it was nice. It was real. It was real. I mean, this guy, it was real. And I feel bad for those people, but I feel that this guy got to go into court and to face that guy, the murderer.
Did he make any statements? The murderer? Did the convicted man make any statements? He had an opportunity to.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't said anything yet. They're waiting to see if he's going to say anything when it's over. I think today might be. I think they left room for tomorrow because they had obviously a lot of people from the victim. I mean, his cousin's crawling out of the wall. I'm half thinking, it's funny because I was looking at it and I thought that the deputies would be closer to him.
Casey,
and
he might have been chained to the chair.
Yeah, I don't know, but it certainly seemed like they were giving anybody who wanted to jump over the rail and punch this guy in the face.
You get one or two, and then we'll
a lot of room.
Yeah, we're coming, but not in any hurry.
Yeah, we'll be there, but just as soon as you get in there, start moving.
Yeah. don't miss your first
waste
punch.
Any time.
Land them all because we're coming, but
make
slowly.
Your statement before you go over the bar, not after.
I've seen it. Here's how you do it. Lead with those knuckles, Bubba.
Yep. When you're in there, you're in the ring. Don't waste any time thinking about it.
Time's a waste.
But it was, I would have never been able to hold my composure.
I don't know if I would even have gone for the sentencing thing.
Yeah, well, a lot of the family, well, not a lot of them, but a large number of family members were not there. They either sent statements or decided not to give him any kind of play, any kind of.
They still have the death penalty in Idaho.
Firing squad, but he took a plea deal,
so he gets life. Did you freeze, Vin?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you're back. Good, thank you.
Yeah, we went away for a second. Anyway, but I wanted to mention that before we get out of here because I just it's fascinating to watch. I feel for these people. I just think it's horrible, and I hope that Like,
Hope Moscow can stay out of the news unless something good happens.
don't make any plan. If you're the murderer, don't make any plans for your next few weekends.
No,
You're gonna like the one gentleman said, you're gonna be meeting a lot of new people. And something tells me you won't be seeing a lot of their faces.
well, I'll see you. This being a wacky Wednesday, I'll see you on the Fractious Friday, which is coming.
I will be here if the Lord's willing. The creek don't rise on Friday morning at 10:10, and see what else we have cooking on the plate for this coming Friday. Until then, Michael, peace,
Yes,
love, and Manischewitz.
I would just like to say, from my own personal experience, it's quite a wine.
I don't
I'm
want
gonna go see if I can find Pokey, see if he's feeling any better.
Yeah, go look for Pokey and give us a full report on Friday. Don't let the cat kill him.
It's going to be hard to keep him up. I mean, he's making tunnels in the cat chow, the crunchies. He's actually in them.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
It's not a good.
Well, don't they have lizard shit? I mean, can't the cat get sick from the lizards?
He's that big.
Well, still, it doesn't take much. I'd get him out of the food, pal. I mean, you don't want to have a $2,000 veterinarian bill for because he ate a piece of lizard shit.
No, I don't. You're absolutely right. I do not.
It'll give you a great story. Well, how'd you get that bill? Well, the cat ate some lizard shit.
As near as we can tell, or did he eat the tip of the tail that fell off during the attack? I don't know. His name's Pokey. Ask him.
I told him to wipe.
Nobody listens to me. Nobody ever listens to me.
Front to back. He wouldn't listen.
I'll see you, Vin.
All right, Mikey. Take care. See you on Friday. Right. Thank you all for listening, too. We always appreciate it. We'll catch up with you Friday morning at 10:10. Take care.
So be it.